You know, when you look at a newborn, you see all these tiny, kind of random-looking movements. But what if I told you they're not random at all?
I mean, what if those little kicks and jerks and those surprisingly strong grasps, what if that's all part of a secret language? A bunch of built-in messages that are not just crucial for survival, but are literally laying the groundwork for every single milestone to come. Well, today, we're going to decode that language.
So what we're talking about are neonatal reflexes, right? These are totally involuntary, automatic movements that a baby is just born with. The best way to think of them is like a pre-installed operating system, absolutely essential for survival from the second they're born, and it's all running from the most primitive part of the brain, the brainstem.
Okay, so what's actually in this toolkit? Let's dive in and take a look at a few of the most important and honestly most fascinating reflexes that every single newborn comes equipped with.
All right, let's start with the one that's probably caught every new parent off guard at some point. That sudden, really dramatic startle.
This is called the Moro reflex, and it's wild. A sudden sound, or even just the feeling of their head dropping a little bit, triggers this incredible sequence. First, the arms and legs shoot outwards, then they pull right back in, and it's often followed by a cry. See, this isn't just some random jerk, it's a completely involuntary protective response. It's like a built-in alarm system hardwired to signal, hey, something's wrong.
And how about this one? I'm sure you felt this. You put your finger in a baby's hand and you're just shocked by how strong their grip is. Yep, you guessed it. That's another one of these key reflexes at play.
So, this is the palmar grasp reflex. All it takes is a little bit of pressure on their palm and bam! Those little fingers clamp down with this incredible force. And it's not just a cute party trick, right? It's actually a super important reflex. It's the precursor to voluntary grasping, and some even think it plays a role in that early bonding with mom and dad. Okay, so we've covered the hands, but what about the feet? Like, what happens when you tickle a baby's foot? This next one, this is one of the best examples of how our nervous system matures over time. It's really cool.
This, my friends, is the Babinski reflex. In a baby, when you firmly stroke the bottom of their foot, something really unique happens. The big toe extends upward, and all the other little toes fan out. It's a super specific response, and it's important for a reason.
And this is what makes it so important. See, in a baby, that upward toe movement is totally normal. It's just a sign that their nervous system is still under construction. But if you or I had that same reaction, that could signal a pretty big problem. For adults, the normal response is for the toes to curl downward. That simple little difference tells you everything about a mature, fully developed nervous system versus one that's still growing.
Which brings us to a really crucial point. These reflexes, they're not supposed to stick around forever. They actually have to perform this kind of great disappearing act. And there's a name for it: reflex integration.
So, what on earth does integration even mean? Well, it's basically when these automatic brainstem level reflexes get quieted down or absorbed by the more advanced parts of the brain. They have to fade into the background to make room for more complex, voluntary movements. It's like the baby's brain is upgrading its software, going from automatic to manual control.
And get this, there's a pretty predictable schedule for it all. It's like a developmental roadmap. You've got reflexes like stepping that are gone within just a couple of months. The Moro and palmar grasp we just talked about, they usually integrate around the 6-month mark. And the Babinski, well, that one hangs around the longest, finally disappearing by the time a kid is about 2. Following this sequence is a huge sign of a healthy, developing brain.
Right, so here's the really important takeaway. This isn't just about reflexes disappearing. The real magic is what their departure makes possible. This is where reflex gets to become reality.
I think the best way to picture it is this. These primitive reflexes are like developmental training wheels. They give the baby stability and a basic foundation for movement when their brain just isn't ready for complex control yet. But, to really learn to ride the bike, eventually, the training wheels have to come off.
Let's take the ATNR, or the fencing reflex, as a perfect example. So at first, whenever a baby turns their head to one side, the arm on that same side automatically straightens out. But think about it. How can you learn to roll over if your arm shoots out every time you turn your head? You can't. That reflex has to integrate. So around 6 months, it fades away. And that allows the baby to finally turn their head without the arm extending. That one little change, that's the key that unlocks a huge new skill.
So you see, these reflexes are kind of like the silent architects building, well, everything.
They make sure the baby survives by helping them feed. They offer protection with that Moro reflex we saw. And they literally lay the groundwork for every single motor skill, from head control to rolling to crawling and eventually walking. They even help the brain figure out how to process all the sensory information coming in.
And that brings us to our final and probably most important point. Why does all this matter? Why do we track this secret language so closely? Well, it's because these reflexes are a direct window into a baby's developing brain.
You see, the timely appearance and, just as critically, the timely disappearance of these reflexes, those are some of the most reliable signs a pediatrician has for tracking healthy neurological development. It tells them that the brain is maturing just the way it should be, making that crucial shift from those primitive responses to sophisticated, voluntary control.
So the next time you see a newborn startle, or you feel that surprisingly strong little hand grasp your finger, remember what you're really seeing. It's not just a cute, random movement. You're actually watching the silent architects of the brain hard at work, building the very foundation for a lifetime of movement and learning. It really makes you wonder, right? What other hidden processes are shaping who we become right from day one?